I've always loved great stories and great storytellers all my life. And one thing I've noticed about all great storytellers is they all have that little element of mendacity, of rascality, of the willingness to not let the facts of the story get in the way of the truth of the story. I mean, even if you go all the way back, like the oldest storyteller we know of, whoever did the cave paintings in France. You know, I know they told us it was a scientist documenting the hunt. No, that was one of us. That was a storyteller saying, you would not believe what we did last Saturday night, 15,000 years ago, and we're still telling that story. And you know that their spears weren't nearly that big. Right out of college, I got into documentary filmmaking because I wanted to help tell stories. One of the greatest stories I ever got, we were doing a documentary called King Coal about the demise of the anthracite coal industry in central Pennsylvania. And we were up in a little town called Ashland, Pennsylvania, and after we were done shooting, went into a little bar, a local place, a hole in the wall, where you just say, give me a beer, because they only have one kind, and it's probably Schmitz. And the locals were obviously curious about the strangers, so we told them about the documentary. And the bartender says, oh, you need to talk to old Rudy Moss. Rudy, get up here! This old fella comes up. He goes, I'm Rudy Moss. I'm the last survivor of the great Schuylkill County mine disaster of 1911 that killed over 100 men and boys and wiped out the town of Fleet. Don't go looking for it, it ain't on any map. For a beer and a tenner, I'll tell you all about it. $10, here's your beer, hit record. I'll give you the 5-minute version of the story. I was a breaker boy working up top, but that day they put me down in the bottom of the hole at working the belt with old Toonie Shea, because we was the only boys tall enough who still had all 10 fingers. Down at the far end, deep in the mine, were 4 fellas I knew from town pretty well. Shawnee Malone, fresh off the boat from County Kerry. Hard worker, Shawnee. When he worked in the hole, he was working at the butcher's or loading railroad cars. And Jaime the Jew, who weren't Jewish, but he was too small a feller to make an argument. And Jakey Yoder, an ex-Amishman out of Lancaster County, who shaved his beard and couldn't never go home. And Enzo Toddy. Enzo was a stone cutter from a family of stone cutters going all the way back to the Romans. He come over and the only stone they let him cut's at the bottom of a coal mine. In between them short fellers, you know. So they put them all the way down in, clearing out before the timbermen can come in and shore up the roof. Between them and me was about 100 other fellas. We was pulling mostly slate out till they could break through to a new seam. I don't know how it happened. Maybe somebody took out a pillar or clipped a bolt. But it ain't like you see it in the movies. It ain't all the dirt and the stone coming down. 1 second you got a tunnel, and the next you got a wall of rock. I was lucky. I got on the first skip up. But you ain't no scared till you're half a mile underground and the walls start shaking. As they was pulling me up, I looked down and I see brothers crawling over brothers and fathers clawing at sons. I seen 20 guys try to claw up a ladder made for 2, and it all come down on top of them. There were 128 chips on the board. That's 128 souls in the mine. 15 come out. Them 4 boys on the other side of that wall was scrambling, looking for a vent, looking for anything. Thank you for that pledge. After a while, their headlamps go out, and they're sitting there in the dark, and they starts talking. Enzo says he missed the sea and how blue it was, and the heat of the sun in his grandfather's olive grove. And when he gets out, he's going back. And even if they won't let him cut stone, he'll pick olives. Jakey couldn't go back. His family shunned him. But he'd been reading about Montana and how they could stake you to a little plot of land and a small herd of cattle. And that's where he'd want to spend his days, out under the big sky. Jaime missed his mama. Mama gave him the money to come over, and he was supposed to work and bring her along, but Jaime met a girl and got married, and they had a little girl. And Jaime said, when they get me out of here, I'm bringing Mama over. I don't care how much it costs. He's going to meet her granddaughter, Hannah. Shawnee missed County Kerry. He missed his ma, he missed his da. Mostly he missed Molly. He had enough money now for a little plot of land, some cows. He learned to make cheese. He thought that'd be pretty good living, making cheese to sell in the stores at Dingle and Tralee. They talked for a little longer in the dark. And then they mostly just listened to the earthquake and each other breathe. That's when Rudy got up, finished his beer, took the money off the table, handed $5 to the bartender, turned to us and said, you know, the company don't do no recovery if there's no more coal in the mine. So them boys is down there still. And he walked out. And we couldn't believe how lucky we were to find a story like this for our documentary. And we talked the rest of the night about how we could fit it into the story we were already telling. And it wasn't until the very next morning that we realized we'd been had. Thank you.